Welcome back to Lex Plays Godzilla, or Lex Played Godzilla and then talked about it after watching it. That's pretty much what this is. Yeah, well, it's a new format of Let's Play, in my opinion. The Lex Play, you know what I'm talking about. I am anything if not typical. Did that make sense? I'm not really sure it did. I have to do things by the handbook. Blah, 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 blah. So, I just bought a graphic novel called Godzilla Cataclysm. There's a lot of good Godzilla comics coming out as of late. I just started reading Rules of Earth. I read Cataclysm, and I just read Half Century War. And a lot of them are really good. Like, they're really like cool ideas. A lot of like, because Godzilla is such like a, it's an old franchise. It's a very like dated franchise, but people can still do really awesome like new things with it, which is what I'm trying to do with my own kind of ideas and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of what I do with my music videos. I try to like take music that's modern and like American and apply it to something that's both dated and foreign from Japan. So it's like my own take. But Cataclysm was really good. Probably the darkest Godzilla graphic novel I've ever read. It takes place after Godzilla and a bunch of other monsters that just destroyed the world. And it's really interesting and really like heavy at times. It's short, but for what it is, it's really cool. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Okay, new monster coming, and it is none other than King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah is my favorite Godzilla monster. I love his design. I love his abilities. I just love everything about him. And he's basically Godzilla's archenemy. He's probably the most recognized and most like utilized enemy monster in all of Godzilla. He's been in the most movies of any other Godzilla monster, I think. And he's being planned to be used in the next 2014 Godzilla movie, so that's really cool. And now I'm fighting him, and he's pretty powerful. He fights by shooting lightning at his mouth, as you can see. He's blasting with lightning, which does a good amount of damage, so I gotta watch out for that. Okay, he jumps, but it's pretty easy to, it's pretty easy to cancel his, like, jumps, because it's not, if I just use my tail, like, I'm pretty sure I can. Okay, I turned around like an idiot. I used the shotgun to push him back a little bit, and that destroyed the generator somehow. I think they just, like, pushed his wing into it or something. Ghidorah, blasting him again. He's blowing a hurricane winds. Okay. And now, I think that this is the point in the Let's Play where I figure out how to grab. I remember how to grab, but with King Ghidorah, it's pretty hard to grab because his melee attacks have this really good range, and it's hard to like get close enough to him to do that. As you can see, I screwed myself over there because I decided I just needed to go into data collection mode just then to get a cool perspective, and he got a lot of free hits on me there, so you gotta watch out for that.
For the camera,
I did again for some reason, I'm stupid. I just wanted the cool Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah 2 pick. Okay, cool. Okay, that was pretty cool. If I had taken a picture of that, that would have been awesome. So yeah, King Ghidorah is an awesome character. He's an awesome design, and I just love him. I just think he's an awesome character. I really hope in the next Japanese Godzilla movie they add him eventually, because everyone loves King Ghidorah. It's Godzilla, King Ghidorah, and Mothra. They're probably the trifecta of kaiju in the Godzilla franchise that appear in just everything. Like, there's never been a Godzilla series that hasn't had those three monsters in it. And I'm sure the ones that they're working on right now will be no different. So as you can see here, I try to use my usual cower tactics. I hide behind the generator and just let him do a lot of the damage. It works for a little while, then I go for the ground. Oh, okay. And then I accidentally knee the freaking generator and destroy it, which kind of screws me over. He just canceled my enhanced, and he's biting me. Got stuck in the corner. I use my shockwave, and the lightning bolts don't hurt me, but I gotta get away from him, otherwise I'm screwed. I try to push him back with the enhanced breath, which works pretty well. But yeah, King Ghidorah is usually like, he's one of those monsters that usually takes more than one monster to keep down. Like, he's pretty powerful. I don't think Godzilla's ever beaten him without having like some kind of unfair advantage. Be it Godzilla being like super powerful or having multiple monsters to help him. Ghidorah just destroyed that stationary gun. That's pretty awesome. So I'm going for this generator now. I see him approaching, so I need to get behind it, and then I get pushed back by the shield. And he's right there, and I'm really scared, and I can run away. He blasts lightning at my face. I use Shockwave out of a panic move, and here he comes. Ugh, okay. Time to move. Okay, I can hit him with more atomic breath. He does not do a whole lot. Okay, generator is destroyed, but he is still there, so the problem still exists. He's biting me. He is... Okay, that was his enhanced lightning, and that's all it takes to frickin' take me down. Welcome to the first death of this playthrough. Fitting that it's against King Ghidorah, who is one of the cooler monsters. So, guess I'm gonna try that again. So get ready for that again. And this time I will be smarter, I will not screw around with the freaking data collection, and I will actually try to beat him this time. Even though it's a shame to beat him, because King Ghidorah is the coolest. I like what Pat from Two Best Friends said, where King Ghidorah is like the dumbest design, which should be terrible, but actually is so cool. Friggin' he's three-headed golden, perfect golden dragon. He's got no limbs. Well, technically he's a wyvern because he has no front. He has no arms. Meaning he's a wyvern, but that is beside the point. So King Ghidorah is some backstory on King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah is a space monster. He comes from space. He's had a lot of different origins over the years. The original King Ghidorah was a space monster that basically destroyed Mars and rendered it uninhabitable. And then in the movie, he debuts in, he comes to Earth to destroy Earth. His motivation is not clear. I think he's just instinctually destroying everything in his path. Kind of like Godzilla, but on a much more like universal scale, which is kind of what's interesting about him, that he's similar to Godzilla, but he's the antithesis in that he is not a protector. He's never been a protector. He's always a destroyer. And really the only reason why he and Godzilla fight is because King Ghidorah tries to destroy the Earth, and the Earth is where Godzilla comes from, so we can't have that, can we? He's back to murder me. But this version of King Ghidorah, I'm pretty sure, is based on the Heisei version, which is the same version as this Godzilla. So this Godzilla and this Ghidorah have fought before in the film Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, which is one of my personal favorites. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people don't like the Heisei movies, but I like them just fine. I've made some cool stuff. So in that movie, King Ghidorah is actually it's kind of complicated. Normally, he's in the originals he was being controlled by aliens from the planet X. This was the freaking 60s, so give him a break. But in the Heisei version, King Ghidorah was basically there were these people from the future who came to the 1990, I think it was, or 80s, I don't remember, and wanted to change history. Because I guess Japan basically becomes like the world's biggest global superpower in the future, and the people from the future are mostly Americans, and I guess they want to stop that from happening so they can rule the future markets. So what they do is, in order to do this, they instead of using like fucking stocks or like economical means, they bring a bunch of little pet critters that I guess were genetically created in the future, and they go back in time to when before Godzilla became Godzilla, when he was just like a regular dinosaur that survived the extinction event, and they basically remove him from the island that got bombed and irradiated him, and replace him with these little genetic, cute little pets. And then once they're exposed to the atomic bomb, they basically merge together and create King Ghidorah. And the people from the future are controlling King Ghidorah, and they are using him to destroy Japan to make sure it never becomes like the superpower it becomes in the future. And basically, what happens is, what the good guys decide to do is just make a new Godzilla using their present-day nuclear radiation, and boom, new Godzilla, twice as powerful Godzilla, fucking destroys King Ghidorah by blowing off one of his heads, which becomes a thing in later movies. So Godzilla kills King Ghidorah, and then they realize, oh wait, now we have a really angry and more powerful Godzilla to deal with. So they have they go back in time they go to the future, they find King Ghidorah's body in the future, and then outfit him with all this future tech and turn him into a cyborg dragon, into Mecha King Ghidorah. So, I think it's really cool. Okay, I'm an idiot. I just blew a breath the other way. Well, at least Ghidorah didn't capitalize on that. So yeah, it's pretty interesting how it's like, alright, we need Godzilla to beat Ghidorah, then we need to get Ghidorah back to beat Godzilla. So, I really like it, because I like King Ghidorah. I really like Mecha King Ghidorah. I like his design a lot. We don't see him in this playthrough, maybe in a later one we will. But, yeah, so, I enjoy that movie, personally. And then there was well, before I move on to that, to the next movie, I went to G-Fest this past summer. It's a Godzilla convention in Chicago. I went with my cousin, and it was really fun. Had a great time. And one of the actors who was in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah was there as a guest, doing a Q&A and signing autographs and everything. And he's really cool. His name is Robert Field. He's an American guy who was raised in Japan, so he speaks both Japanese and English. And he was kind of like a translator. Like, he really, like, even though he doesn't know a lot about Godzilla, at least going into when he was filming the movies, he's basically become like the bridge between American Godzilla fans and Japanese Godzilla fans, or just the Japanese people who made them in general, like, because he speaks both English and Japanese. So at the convention, he was doing a lot of like translating. There were some directors and actors who were Japanese directors and actors who were at the convention, and Robert Field basically translated them for us, and he's basically helped bridge the gap between cultures for this fandom, and it's really cool. And I met him, I got to talk to him. He was really cool. I got his autograph, and I'm looking at it right now. It's on my wall in front of me, and it was really cool. So yeah, that was really fun. And then back on the topic of King Ghidorah, who's directing my face again. The Millennium 2003, I think, version of King Ghidorah was actually, they decided to switch the roles up. So Godzilla was the villain in that movie, and King Ghidorah was the hero trying to stop him. So yeah, that was a big role reversal that a lot of people didn't like, but I kind of liked. So I'm Ghidorah, and that's the end of the video. So join me for the next one, where I talk more about Godzilla. Goodbye.